Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Amanda. So in today's video, I've got some breakfast meal prep ideas for you. These are really easy recipes that can help you get prepared for the week ahead. I don't always meal prep, but man, when I do, I notice such a difference. So I'm really excited to share these recipes with y'all. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're excited to see them. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe and be a part of my YouTube family. I do all kinds of what's for dinner recipe videos. It's really all about the food here. So make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any time I post a new video. But let's go ahead and get into the recipes. So let's get started on these Egg McMuffins. This is literally one of my favorite breakfasts ever. I love it so much. I decided to try the trick where you cook the eggs in the oven in like a muffin pan. I have like this muffin top pan, and I thought I would see how they turned out. I was not super happy with the way they turned out because what happens is it gets really done on the bottom. I mean, like fully cooked on the bottom, but the top gets still a little gooey, and it's not like a kind of consistency thing. Whereas normally, like if you do it in the skillet, I feel like it cooks more evenly. This was definitely convenient though, as far as like, obviously cooking 6 of them at one time versus I only cook 2 at a time in a skillet. But I did the 6 there, and then I also did some in the skillet since I wasn't real sure I'd like the way those turned out. And I just cracked the eggs in the skillet with a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil, whichever one. And then I cook them until the whites get kind of set. I flip them over. I add just a little bit of water to it. And then I cover it with a plate because I don't have a lid for this pot or this pan. But that kind of like steams it and allows it to cook without like getting overdone or really crispy, because I don't like crispy edges or anything like that on eggs. I know some people, they do like when you get it like that crispiness to it. I'm just not a fan of that. So this is a really nice way of doing it to where it gets done to my liking, but yet it doesn't get like overdone. So that's a handy way to do it. It does take a little bit of time, but it really does go by pretty quick because they do cook fairly fast. So it's not anything that takes just an extraordinarily long time. And so now I'm just getting my English muffins all spread out on my pan. This is like a giant pan. It held, I think, a total of 11 muffins. So I love this pan. It's really, really handy to use for things like that, especially if you're a larger family and you need a lot fixed at one time, or just like this for meal prep. It's definitely excellent to use that. And I think that it's like 15 by 21. It literally takes up pretty much the whole space in the rack of the oven. So I'm just brushing each one of these with a little bit of butter and getting them all ready. I put them all under the broiler. Now the only thing is that makes super quick work of toasting all of these, but you have to watch the broiler so closely because it will toast them to, be burnt if you don't watch it. I have gotten them a little farther done than I would like them sometimes, but they've still been fine. But it's just, I like them. Actually, this time I got them perfect. So you'll see that's exactly how I like them. But sometimes if you're not careful, it does take it a little too far. So just keep an eye on that. We're just going to layer all our eggs on here, and then we're going to get to work cooking our ham in the skillet along with some cheese. Now you could definitely just layer the cheese and ham on here without cooking it. However, this day we did want to eat some of these fresh, and so I felt like that was just an easy way to do them all. And I do like the ham to get like a little bit toasty in the skillet, and it's super easy. It goes by so fast. It just takes like maybe a couple of minutes or something to do that many pieces. It's not long at all. And so you can store these a variety of ways. You can wrap them in plastic wrap, parchment paper, put them in a Ziploc bag, however you'd like to do it. You could also put them in a plasticware container, and then that way you don't have to use any kind of plastic wrap or anything like that. And I just microwave them usually for about 30 seconds, but I flip them over. So I do 15, and then I flip the sandwich over and do 15 more. And I feel like that heats it a little more evenly. Sometimes I go a little longer, but usually it's about 30 seconds. So just kind of check it and see if it's done to your liking. My daughter also likes to heat hers in the oven. I believe she said she does it at like 370 for 15 minutes, and she says that gets it perfectly warmed through. So she does wrap that in foil when she heats it. So that's another way you can heat it up. So these are all done. We're ready to put them in our plasticware container, and we'll have a yummy breakfast for the week. So next up, we have Waffle Bites. And we're going to go ahead and get started making our batter first. That is just some flour. We're going to be adding some sugar, baking powder, and a little bit of salt to that. And once we get that whisked together well, we're going to set that to the side and work on our wet ingredients. So I've got a couple of eggs in here that we're going to just whisk together. Then we're going to add 1.5 cups of milk to this. Now the ingredients just said 1.5 cups of milk, but like when you read the directions, it said warmed milk. So I wasn't really sure, but I went ahead and warmed it just in case. I just made it just a little warm in the microwave. And then I've got some melted butter here that we're going to add in there. And then that's going to whisk together well along with a little bit of vanilla. And that's going to be combined with our dry ingredients. You just want to mix it until it's combined. You don't want to over mix it. I hadn't made homemade waffle batter in forever. I just been using like mixes of sorts and stuff like that. And we really enjoyed this batter. It was really good. I mean, well, the waffles, not the batter really. But so I do really recommend this recipe. I'll have it linked below in the description box. And it went together so easily. So, I mean, super easy recipe. And I've got a brand new Dash waffle maker, and I was so excited to try this out. I had gotten it just a little while back. I'd ordered it on sale, and so I was really excited to try it out and see how these turned out. And they turned out so good, y'all. They are so adorable. My kids absolutely loved them. We did end up doing, I didn't film this part because I didn't think I was going to put chocolate chips in it, but I had a request from someone to put chocolate chips. But I ended up doing even a few with chocolate chips in the batter. I used mini chips since they're so small, and those turned out so delicious. And this was so easy. I went ahead and used oil and used, a pastry brush to brush it on there. And I only had to do that one time. Now, I did have some of them stick up at the top like that. I mean, they weren't sticking, but like they would stay up there and I'd have to get them off that. But you use about a tablespoon of batter in each one of these. And it was just such a neat thing. It made several. I didn't count how many this made, but it made so many. And we just loved them. They're just so adorable. Now, the only thing is it, obviously they're not going to fit like in a toaster to heat up. So you might want to use a toaster oven to heat them up. My kids a lot of times just use the microwave, so that works too. Or you can put them like in the oven and toast them up a little too if you want them a little more on the crisp side. But this would be so fun to do so many things. I'm already thinking about doing like some little chicken waffle bites and getting like a little bite-sized chicken and do that. So I will link this waffle maker down below because this was so fun. So next up we have chocolate banana muffins. I had some bananas I needed to use up, and I thought this would be a great thing to meal prep for breakfast. Some, muffins. The banana at least makes them a little more healthy, even though the chocolate makes them a little more kind of decadent too. So I'm just spooning my flour in here. I always do that when I measure things like that. I spoon the flour and then I scrape it off with my knife over there, and then that way it helps the flour be a little more accurate if you don't want to weigh it. And I never weigh my flour, so that kind of helps you rather than scooping it. When you scoop it, it kind of gets it too tight sometimes. And that container is so handy too. I'll try to link that down below. It has helped me organize all my sugar and flours and all that. Now to my flour, I've added some baking soda, baking powder, cocoa powder, brown sugar, a little bit of salt, and we're just going to mix that all together. And then we've got our mini chocolate chips, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of flour to them and kind of mix them together to get them coated. It's supposed to help them not fall to the bottom and stuff like that. And I'm mashing up 2 very ripe bananas and getting those ready. We're going to go ahead and add our eggs to that, as well as some melted butter and a little bit of vanilla. And then we're going to mix that together well and combine the dry and wet ingredients together. And I had never made chocolate banana muffins, but these were really good. I even think it would be really delicious to combine like peanut butter chips and chocolate chips in them. So that would be a really good combination, I think, too. Or like if you had like those little mini peanut butter cups and things like that. Because I think obviously, peanut butter, banana, chocolate, that all kind of goes good together. But you're just going to want to combine your batter just until it's combined. You don't want to overmix it. And I had forgot to add my butter in, realized that, and then added that later. And that was fine. It did not hurt it at all. So just know that if you do that same thing, I was just like thinking, this is a little dry. And I was like, isn't it supposed to have something else? It's like, oh yeah, the butter's still sitting over there. So I definitely was not, paying close attention that evening. And we just tossed our chocolate chips in there and get that mixed together. And then we're going to scoop them out into our muffin tins. This made 18 muffins. And that was a nice amount, I felt like, for the recipe to make. So I was glad it made a little more than just 12. Now, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite kind of go-to breakfast is, whether it's for meal prep or whether it's just your favorite breakfast that you kind of tend to have. But I think all of these were just really tasty things to have. So I hope, some of these give you some new ideas of something, that you might want to make too. Now, these muffins bake at 425 for 8 minutes, and then you lower the temperature down to 350 and you bake another 10 minutes. And I always like to check mine with like a toothpick or some sort of little thing to make sure it comes out clean. And then as long as it does, they're done and ready to cool and then store however you'd like to store so that you can enjoy them through the week. Now, if you want to see a little clip of our puppy Mila, she's grown so much, it'll actually be after the muffins, so keep an eye out for that. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more delicious recipes that are coming your way. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. So, are you wanting some? What you doing, Mila? What you doing? Give me your paw. Good girl. Good girl.